Greetings shippers, welcome back, and it's time for another episode of Fics Rec Friday, the series where I share a bunch of fanfiction recommendations with you guys, and you share some of your own as well. Last week we did an entire Fan Rec Friday where every single fic was recced by you guys, the fans. It was a lot of fun, so if you missed it, check it out. You can click the link or the card will be over there. This week we have a theme week that some people have been highly anticipating. In general, some people just wish that this channel had more anime. And so with that, I bring you Anime Rec. Before we get started, we of course have to quickly do our disclaimer. You can expect to see a wide array of fics on this series. There's going to be dark fics, dubcon, gore, there's going to be overplayed tropes, things that are too fluffy, there's going to be ships, rival pairings, gen fics, just everything that you can think of. So it must be reiterated again that this is not a bashing space. Please do not seek out anybody, reader, writer, wrecker, to harass them. This whole endeavor is about sharing different fics and seeing what's out there inside of fandom. If a rec doesn't sound like it will be for you, that's absolutely fine. Hopefully one of the other ones will, or maybe one of the lovely recs that the people leave down below, which as always, keep leaving them. There were some suggestions that we should do Fan Rec Friday more often. What do you think? Leave your feelings on that down below. Each time it gets quicker and quicker, which means that we can get to the fics quicker. But before we do that, if you haven't already, please do follow on social media to stay up to date, know when we're streaming, and just come on over and chit chat about fandom. It's a good time, I swear. Side note, this shirt makes me feel like one of those poorly dressed extras in a 90s Star Trek episode, and I love it. So let's get to the fics. Fic 1. Fic 1 is going to take us to an anime fandom that we've talked about before. We're going to take another look at Yuri on Ice. For once, this fic has to do with the dominant pairing. That doesn't happen often here, but on occasion, we break the mold. That means that it is a Victuuri ship. That being the pairing of Katsuki Yuri and Viktor Nikiforov. The fic is called And I Feel Life for the Very First Time by Smudges of Ink. One chapter, word count 10,673. This fic is a little unique in this fandom. Let me explain. This fandom is very, very fluffy. There are all types of works, of course, because there is a lot of fanish material produced for this couple and this fandom in general, but a lot of it is very lighthearted. Lots of people gravitated towards Yuri on Ice because of its happy, inclusive, and hopeful tone, and a lot of the fics reflect that. This fic is a little bit darker. Not a lot, it's just a bit more angsty. It deals with Yuri and Victor getting together, but it's from Victor's perspective and deals with his dark past. This fic gives him a dark past. It's not that dark. It's more sad than dark. In this series, you very much jump right in with the characters, and you learn a little bit about them, but there's still a lot of room to play around, especially when it comes to their histories, and this fic does just that. It gets inside Victor's head and deals with why he skates, what he loves about it, and how certain things that have happened in his past have altered how he looks at it, and how he rediscovers the joy of skating through Yuri. It's a very lovely fic and adds a little layer of angst that some may have been missing from this fluffier anime outing, which for those who are unaware, in case you missed this anime altogether, was about figure skating. This anime will make you care about figure skating. For those of you who didn't, I already did. In general, this is an interesting fandom, and there are other pairings too. There's a lot going on here. You can join in and see why people like to say things like we were born to ship Victuuri. It's a fun fandom. Fic 2 is gonna take us over to a fandom we just talked about, that being the Dragon Ball Z fandom. Of course, since I recently did a Vegeta and Bulma video, it dragged me right back into that fandom and some of those old fics, and so I had to rec one for you. If you missed our Vegebul video, then click the card or the link will be down below. For those of you who were around, it's a nostalgia fest, and for those of you who missed it, you might learn a few things about this pairing that you didn't know already. So in order to explain this fic, you need to explain a little bit about the Buu Saga, which if you're a fan who only watched Dragon Ball Z Kai, you'll have missed altogether. The Buu Saga brings us yet another tournament, because of course it does. And in it, we have a long anticipated fight between Goku and Vegeta. Again, during all this, Vegeta allows himself to be possessed by Babidi, which turns him into Majin Vegeta. Because of this, he ends up killing part of a stadium full of people. Or was it because of that? After all of this happens, things very much go back to normal very quickly, and Bulma and Vegeta are just back together, and you never see anybody really discuss it or deal with it that much. Goku kind of deals with it a little bit, but Dragon Ball Z has always had a bit of a problem with stakes, which is unsurprising in a series where you have as big of a Deus Ex Machina as the Dragon Balls. This fic is called When It Counts by Adley. It is one chapter, word count 4,110. This is a post-tournament missing scene, and it deals with Vegeta and Bulma having a conversation about what exactly happened during the tournament and why he did what he did, and more importantly, why Bulma stayed with him and supported him throughout all of it. It also, because it's Vegeta and Bulma, gets a little smutty. Not too smutty though, this is light smut. PG-13 smut, yes. It's interesting and gives these two more characterization than the series ever does, but still plays with the kernels that have been laid by Dragon Ball Z. A lot of the fics in this fandom really build upon the foundations that are there in the series, some of which are not that firm. So if you need some more Vegeta and Bulma in your life, this fic might just be for you. Next up, we're headed to a very popular fandom at the time of this recording, My Hero Academia. This fandom has ships upon ships upon ships, which of course will leave you wondering, what fic is this gonna be? Is it Totodeku? Is it Bakudeku? Is it Kirubaku? None of them. It's none of them. This fic is an Eraser Might fic. Eraser Might, not Eraser Mike. They're different things. There is a decent amount of fandom content for the adults in this series. Nowhere near as much as there is for the children, but they still have a lot of fans and a lot of people are interested in what they're doing in their own right. More so than in certain other series, which may be because they are superheroes or just because they're better characterized. Let me know why you think there are so many fics about them down below. This fic is called I Sing the Body Electric, Especially When My Power's Out by Deviation. 1 chapter, word count 10,451. This is a body swap fic. Now, the body swap trope has been around for a long time, not just in fandom, but in the mainstream. It's something that fascinates audiences, switching bodies with somebody else and literally having to walk a mile in their shoes. Sometimes it can be very cliche and just silly, but in this case, it really works because of what we know about All Might and the damage done to his body. In the series My Hero Academia, All Might has been very, very injured, and his natural state is just withered and wasting away. This is something that is acknowledged in the series, but is often played off a bit as a joke. In this fic, you have these two switching bodies, and it's very easy to accomplish this because of all the different quirks that exist in this world. Quirk being this universe's term for mutant powers, essentially. All of a sudden, Aizawa has intimate knowledge of what it feels like to be All Might, and how much strength he really has just to keep going day by day. And Toshinori learns a lot about Aizawa, about his insomnia, about the constant dryness of his eyes, just things they didn't know about each other, and they begin to appreciate each other's struggles in a new way, which leads to them coming to get together. It's a really well thought out fic and deals with a lot of the struggles that these two would have because of their quirks, because of their injuries, and because of their histories. It's just interesting. It's a body swap fic done right. This fic is part 4 of the series Eraser Might Week 2017. This of course means that there are 7 fics in total. I won't wreck them all because they're not really a series in the term of continuing with each other. They're just different Eraser Might fics, a different one each day. But if you really like how this one is written, you'll probably like some of the other ones. So just some heads up, there's a curse AU, there's a quirkless AU, there's a missing scenes resolving of differences. I'll put a link to the entire series down below, so if you're interested, you can check out whichever one you want. 4 is gonna take us back to a classic anime. One of the anime heralded as one of the best anime. In my opinion, it still lives up to that title, but some feel it's overhyped, and both reads are fair. We're gonna be taking a look at a fic from Cowboy Bebop. Cowboy Bebop is a space adventure of epic proportions and also small minimal proportions. It really depends what episode you're watching. At the time of this recording, it was recently announced that it's going to be a live action series on Netflix, so share your feelings about that down below as well. The Cowboy Bebop fandom is interesting, and some of the highs and lows have been lost to time. For example, how for a while, spoilers, if you don't want to know anything about the series, spoilers, just hold on a minute. For a while, it was taboo to write any fic wherein Spike had lived, because of the series' overall themes of existentialism. You can come back. It's safe. You can come back. This series does have a lot of existential themes running throughout. As a result, there is an undercurrent of an idea that nothing really matters, that all things are transient, and at the end of the day, it will just be over. It may be a bit dark in theme, but it doesn't always match that darkness in tone, so it's a fascinating outing. Because of that, there are certain things that are brought up that are never really elaborated on, because the idea seems to be that really it doesn't matter. But of course, there is fandom for that. This fic is called Lovely Ugly Brutal World by Euphorbic. It is 1 chapter, word count 6,531. This is a past fic involving Spike, Vicious, and Julia, and their history together on one of their operations. The history that these 3 characters share is paramount to the series' overall climax and to Spike's character, and yet very little is ever said or depicted about it on screen. There are little hints here and there, moments where you can kind of glean or imagine what exactly happened, how these 3 fell out, and how they all went on very different paths, especially Vicious. Side note, Vicious is just a fantastic villain name.
Who are you? Tell me.
Vicious.
can't be the hero if your name is vicious unless you're trying to subvert something. This fic very much feels in character with what we have been presented in the series, and still feels very much in keeping with that tone of these moments that are coming together, but at the end ultimately come to naught. It's interesting, and if you are yearning to know more, then this fic will make you feel like you've come away with a bit better understanding of all these characters, and that's what the best fics do. 5 is taking us again to a superhero anime fandom. I can't stay away. I can't help it. People fighting crime as vigilantes or officially. I'm there. We're going to be taking a look at a fic from the Tiger and Bunny fandom, a world wherein superheroes are completely commercialized. They work for corporations, they have sponsorships, they have brand deals. Their crimes and captures are broadcast on TV as part of a reality show where at the end of the season there's a winner based on how many criminals they took down. This fandom does have a dominant pairing of Tiger and Bunny, the titular main characters. However, this fic has nothing to do with that. This is a gen fic that has to do with Tiger's relationship with his daughter. In the series, Wild Tiger has left his daughter in the country with his mother so that she can be raised there and he can be a hero in the city and hence hopefully keep her safe. This means that his daughter doesn't actually know what he does or that he's Wild Tiger. This changes later, and instead, of course, hilariously prefers other superheroes to his. This fic deals with the idea that the grandmother has finally had enough and tells her what exactly her father does so that she has a better impression of him and doesn't just think that he's a wastrel who doesn't want to spend any time with her. It's a sweet short family fic with a focus on being a dad. This fic is called Wild Tigers in the Cradle by Captain Ziggs. It is 1 chapter, word count 2,281. It's also fun for those who love superhero identity reveals. If you love reactions to people finding out that someone they love is a superhero, then this fic is for you. It can also be cathartic for those who felt that him keeping his identity secret from his intimate family was really unnecessary, especially when his daughter began to develop powers of her own. Side note, tangent story time. That has nothing to do with anime. I'm so sorry. My favorite instance ever of unnecessary superhero identities has to be the 80s He-Man series, wherein Adam, He-Man, has a secret identity, but the only reason that this happened was because in comics, superheroes had secret identities, not because it actually added anything to the overall plot. As a result, Adam is constantly maligned by his family and friends for being a wastrel, not doing anything and not helping out in situations because they don't know that he's He-Man, and it's completely unnecessary, but hilarious, especially how disappointed Adam's father is in him most of the time for no reason. It doesn't need to be happening, and it's glorious.
So you still think you'll be the king's escort, eh?
Sure, why not?
Well, sometimes he hasn't been too pleased with you.
You know, as Adam, I may act like a goof now and then, but, well, that's only to keep my secret.
I called you in to tell you that I have made the choice for my honor guard escort, He-Man.
He-Man? But, Father, I thought you and I might make this trip together.
Really, Adam? But you've never shown any interest in state affairs. Sorry, son. I'm afraid on this trip I'll need someone a bit more experienced and reliable.
This, of course, brings us to our fan rec, and to an anime that we have never discussed on this channel at all. We're going to be taking a look at the Digimon fandom, thanks to XX Masked Puppet XX. You should really do a vid on anime recs. Speaking of, I got a Digimon Frontier rec for you. It's called Yang Yin by Akino Ame. It is more of a what-if fic, in which all of the villains are good and the heroes are bad. It's great. You should check it out. Many people may have left the Digimon fandom after whatever Digimon was on when they were growing up. Some people may not even be aware of Digimon Frontier, but Digimon Frontier actually has a very good reputation within the Digimon fandom of working through some interesting themes and being more than a kids show aimed at selling some toys and games. A warning for this fic though is that it does require prior knowledge because the whole concept is the reversed world. A favorite trope, both officially and in fandom, wherein the world is topsy-turvy and the heroes are the villains and the villains are the heroes. The thing is, some of that punch is lost if you aren't familiar with the heroes and how they normally are. You'll still be able to understand the fic and get enjoyment out of it, but you'll be missing some of the key enjoyment that comes from the theme. This fic is 44 chapters, 228,949 words. So strap in, because it's a long read. I am actually only partway through this one, but something would have to drastically change for me to stop liking it. I only have one fan rec this week because most of the anime recs that you guys left were very long. I'm very glad of it, but I am not done. I'm trying. So many fics, so little time. Let me know if you want an anime fan rec week down below, because I think that could be a lot of fun. I hope that you enjoyed some of the recs, and if you check any out, please let me know and what you thought of it, and also keep leaving your recs down below. This is always so much fun, so much fandom. Thank you as always for taking some time out of your day to spend it discussing fandom with me. I always appreciate it. There are as always more videos coming soon, so if you haven't already, please do subscribe and hit that bell notification so that you never miss a vid, because you never know what we're going to talk about here, except on Fridays, which is Fic Rec Friday. That's a guarantee. I will see you again next week for a bunch more recs. And until then, let's get to the outro. Bye-bye. This has been Shipper's Guide to the Galaxy. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Special thanks to all of my patrons, names on the side, for helping to make these videos possible. There are, as always, more videos coming soon, so until then, stay tuned, for there are as many ships out there as there are stars in the sky.